Orchid has been habitat on Earth from Mesozoic period between 251 and 66 million years ago, where dinosaurs, including Tyrannosaurus, populate the Earth and the Rocky Mountains begin to rise while bivalves populate the seas. Popular around the globe for their beauty and variety, orchids are the largest family of plants in the entire world. There are 25,000 until 30,000 different species of orchid, at least 10,000 of which can be found in the tropics. Orchid species can differ greatly from one another with extreme variations in size, weight, and color. While some orchids may only be the size of a nickel when in bloom, others may weigh up to 1 ton with petals as long as 30 inches and sprays of small flowers 12 until 14 feet long. Orchid blossoms appear in almost every imaginable color except for true black. In general, the floral arrangement of all orchid species is the same, with each orchid flower having 6 parts. The outer 3 flower parts are green sepals, and the inner 3 flower parts are beautifully colored petals. Some orchids live underground, or what we call as subterranean. Some grow on rocks, or what we call as lithophytes, and some grow in the soil, but most are epiphytes, which means they grow on other plants and trees. Orchids are extremely adaptable and grow in almost all climates except for frigid and arid extremes. Orchid groups are both pantropical, able to grow in different tropical countries, and endemic, only found in specific countries or habitats. Most orchid species grow in tropical forests, but others can be found in semi-desert regions, near the seashore, and in the tundra. The majority of neotropical orchid species can be found in southern Central America, northwest South America, and countries that lie along the Andes Mountains. Orchids are a type of plant from the kingdom of Plantae. The orchids are the largest family of plants in the entire world, the Orchidaceae. As you can see, orchids have 5 subfamilies, which are 1. Apostasioidea, 2. Cypripedioidea, 3. Epidendroidea, 4. Orchidoidea, and 5. Vanilloidea. Orchids are usually grouped into 2 broad categories that characterize their growth habits: monopodial and sympodial. Monopodial orchids have a single, upright stem with an opposite leaf arrangement. The flower stem appears from the base of the uppermost leaves. Examples of orchids with this growth habit include the Phalaenopsis and Vandas. The more common, well-known growth habit is sympodial. These orchids grow horizontally, sending out new shoots from the old rhizome. The things called pseudobulbs, which are swollen shoots that store water and nutrients to help the plant survive long droughts. Sympodial orchids include Cattleya, Cymbidium, Oncidium, and Dendrobium. Because most orchids depend on a single species of bird, bee, or other insect for pollination, if that species is eliminated, the particular orchid that depends on that species becomes threatened by extinction. Mochara. Mochara orchids are intergeneric hybrids of Arachnis, X. ascocentrum, X. vanda. Its botanical name is X. mochara. The X in front of the genus name indicates that it is a cross between 2 genera. It is unknown if the genus name Mochara is botanically correct. Mochara is probably the only flower with such a broad spectrum of color shades, including purple, pink, blue, red, orange, yellow, and coral. Each and every color also has its own range. Mochara, commonly named by the smile orchid, is native to Asia where it was first discovered and cultivated. This tropical orchid can be found in all continents with the exception of extreme cold regions such as Antarctica. The Sanskrit name Mochara derives from a Hindu philosophy stating that every individual possesses three states of well-being, which are the causal body, the astral body, and the physical body, where Mochara represents the physical body or the state of form. Mochara orchids are included in the bright light orchid group. Mochara classed as a monocotyledon with leaves mostly parallel veined. Its flower petals similarly shaped or flower star-like with reduced column in the center and stems vary of 7 until 15 flowers per stem. Oncidium verrucosum. Oncidium is a genus that contains about 330 species of orchids from the subtribe Oncidinae of the orchid family Orchidaceae. It is distributed across much of South America, Central America, Mexico, and the West Indies, with one species extending into Florida. Common names for plants in this genus, including dancing lady orchid and golden shower orchid. Oncidium verrucosum is a species of orchid ranging from Brazil to northern Argentina. This is the original dancing lady with its large, bright yellow lip which dominates its hybrids. The petals are small, dull yellow, and bathed in red-brown. The bearing of the petals often adds contrast and interest in its hybrids. Its flowers in autumn. In the wild, almost all Oncidium orchids are epiphytes, growing on tree branches where they anchor themselves with their thick roots. They lack free-flowing air as in their native habitats. Several hundred species exist, native to tropical and subtropical habitats, including the high Andes Mountains, the humid forests of Jamaica, and the tropical river valleys of Brazil, Ecuador, and Peru. Oncidium species are characterized by the following properties. 1. Presence of column wings. 2. Presence of a complicated callus on the lip that used to separate the taxa. 3. Pseudobulbs with 1 to 3 leaves. And 4. Several basal bracts at the base of the pseudobulbs. The flowers of the genus Oncidium come in shades of yellow, red, white, and pink. The petals are often ruffled on the edges, as is the lip. The lip is enormous, partially blocking the small petals and sepals. Dendrobium. Dendrobium is a huge genus of orchids and contains about 1,200 species. The genus occurs in diverse habitats throughout much of South, East, and Southeast Asia, including China, Japan, India, the Philippines, Indonesia, Australia, New Guinea, Vietnam, and many of the islands of the Pacific. The name is from the Greek dendron, which we call as tree, and the bios, which means life. It means one who lives on trees. Dendrobium species are either epiphytic or occasionally lithophytic. They have adapted to a wide variety of habitats, from the high altitudes in the Himalayan mountains to lowland tropical forests and even to the dry climate of the Australian desert. This genus of sympodial orchids develop pseudobulbs which vary in length from under a centimeter to several meters long, resembling canes. A few grow into long red-like stems, leaf bases from sheaths that completely envelop the stem. In selected species, the short ovate leaves grow alternately over the whole length of the stems. In others, the leaves are bunched towards the apex of the system. The axillary inflorescence vary in length from insignificant to 1 meter long and can carry from a few to as many as 100 flowers. Dendrobiums are separated into two main groups, hard-caned, and soft-caned. Hard-caned dendrobiums have tall pseudobulbs that are very thin, and their leaves are generally a little darker in color than the soft-caned. Hard-caned dans are evergreen and often keep their leaves for many years before they drop them. Hard-caned dans grow spikes from the top of the cane and produce gorgeous flower sprays. Soft-caned dendrobium have leafy pseudobulbs that are long and slim. Their leaves are generally a little lighter in color than the hard-caned dans. They grow leaves along the length of the cane, and the blooms sprout from the individual stems that are along the cane itself. Soft-caned dendrobiums are deciduous and drop their leaves when the weather gets cold. Cattleya. Cattleya orchids have been popular plants for home growers for a long time. The Cattleya is a genus that has over 100 species and numerous hybrids which range in bloom, size, color, and smell. It is native to tropical America and sometimes referred to as the queen of orchids because of their big, showy blooms and are often used to make corsets. Cattleya orchid plants produce some of the brightest, most uniquely formed flowers in the orchid world. Cattleyas are named for William Cattell, an English horticulturist from the 19th century. Cattleya are the focus of collectors and breeders, and new hybrids come out nearly every year amid fanfare and excitement in the growing community. Cattleyas are epiphytes, and each flower stalk grows from a pseudobulb which they use for water storage. Their large roots are covered with a spongy velamen which retains nutrient and water. They can cling to a tree crotch or rocky crevasse and need little soil. The plants are long-lived perennials, and some professional collectors have plants half a century old. Cattleya orchid plants grow well in soilless media such as bark and rocks or perlite, which mimics this natural growth habit. Cattleyas generally bloom once a year, and the blooms last for anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks. The blooming season varies by species. Vanda. Vanda is a genus in the orchid family Orchidaceae. There are about 80 species, and the genus is commonly cultivated for the marketplace. This genus and its allies are considered to be among the most specifically adapted of all orchids within the Orchidaceae. The genus is highly prized in horticulture for its showy, fragrant, long-lasting, and intensely colorful flowers. Vanda species are widespread across East Asia, Southeast Asia, and New Guinea, with a few species extending into Queensland and some of the islands of the Western Pacific. The name Vanda is derived from the Sanskrit. Vanda mostly epiphytic, but sometimes lithophytic or terrestrial orchids. The genus has a monopodial growth habit with highly variable leaves according to habitat. Some have flat, typically broad, ovoid leaves, or what we call as strap leaves, while others have cylindrical or terete, fleshy leaves and are adapted to dry periods. The stems of these orchids vary considerably in size. Some are miniature plants and some have a length of several meters. The plants can become quite massive in habitat and in cultivation, and epiphytic species possess very large rambling aerial root systems. The few to many flattened flowers grow on a lateral inflorescence. Most show yellow-brown color with brown markings, but they also appear in white, green, orange, red, and burgundy shades. The leaf has a small spur. Vanda species usually bloom every few months, and the flowers last for 2 to 3 weeks. Many Vanda orchids are endangered, and have never been common because they are usually only infrequently encountered in habitat and grow only in disturbed forest areas with high light levels, and are severely threatened and vulnerable to habitat destruction.